Hi folks, how you doing? It's William here. We've just parked the car and we're on our way to our first ever proper wild camp. Laden down with stuff, that's the beers in there. Probably brought too much, but you live and learn. Going to take a note of what we use and what we don't. I have my Vango 65 litre Sherpa, and Kira, she's down there. She's got her, the new Osprey we got, the 48 litre. And there's Pip. Pip's our Springer Spaniel. So we're on our way. I'm not going to do any of these fancy setting the thing up shots and walk ahead and whatever. It's going to take me all my time just to get there. So yeah, I'll make a couple of videos throughout. We're here for 2 nights. We're in the Galloway Forest. I won't disclose the exact location because, yeah, you know the script. So yes, I'll catch you over the next couple of days. Bye. Hi folks. Well, that's an hour and 20 minutes roughly. It's about a 4.5 mile walk. So first lesson learned is the bag Kira has is far too much for her slight frame. However, we are almost at our destination and we only really had to stop twice. But yeah, the bag she's got, the Osprey bag that she's got on, is too big for her. But she's soldiered on like a trooper and we are almost here. So this is our home for the next 2 nights. There we are. Just came over the ridge and we're almost there. Flies are absolutely eating me alive. So yes, certainly looking forward to getting this pack off, sitting on my arse and chilling before we think about making camp. But yeah, about another 200 yards or something, 200 metres or whatever, and we'll be there. I'm faked. It's been good though, it's been good. The weather's been kind to us. Oh, catch you in a minute, bye. Hi folks, well we arrived, and so learning point number 1 was that the bag that Kira has, she's there, was too big for her. But there was some beers in it and some food and things, so I'll be able to lighten that a good bit to walk back out again. Learning point number 2, I feckin' hate camping or trying to pitch camp on sand. Anyone who, if you know this place, you know it, right? You're going to know where it is. But I'm going to respect the kind of unwritten rule that if you've got a half decent camping spot, you don't spread the word too far and wide. This place is well known, and there's still bits of it are just, you know, people go to all this trouble of parking up and walking in, and you know, they care enough, attacked with flies, they care enough to come out, but they don't care enough to look after the place. So anyway, learning point number 2, we had pitched our tent here on the little beach. Kira has brought our Nature Hike Cloud Peak 2, which is a self-standing tent, and that would have been fine. That would have been absolutely fine. But I have the Hex Peak, and it's not a freestanding tent and it's not ideal for pitching in sand. Also, we have, he's over there, we've got the dog with us, Pip, and he's just getting covered in sand, and it would be in and out in the tents, and he's right next to the water. Yeah, look at this. You see this. Now, if I show one thing, people will know where we are. So, this chair has been seen in lots of videos from this place. But look at this. I mean, there's a gorgeous place like this. There's that muppet there. So yeah, if we've got any space in our bags tomorrow, we'll take some of it away with us. But yeah, so here we are. Absolutely glorious. We've got the whole place to ourselves, apart from the fucking flies. And we had set our 2 tents up here. But when I was putting the inner into the Hex Peak, it was pretty obvious that it wasn't going to stand up to. I would need a different type of peg, or I would need to either a different type of peg, or I would need to cut some sticks. There was Kira's tent. She's going to be in the Cloud Peak too. Cracking little tent, absolutely cracking. It was the first new tent that I bought. I absolutely love it. But I love the Hex Peak. But I mean, there we go, look. It's only been up when I've just been over there taking some stuff away, and already the pegs are coming out. So we've carried our bags over. We're going to drop the tents, and we're going to go over to a bit over there that's in the woods. But we're still next to the water, so we've got a lovely view. And I've brought my swimming trunks with me, so I'm going to come over tomorrow and maybe have a little swim, or maybe even tonight. I'll see what happens. So yeah, Kira's taking her tent down, Pip's being a complete idiot. But yeah, it's all good. I had a little bit of a strop when I realised it wasn't going to work, but it's all part of the learning experience, isn't it? Right, I'm off. Bye. Hi folks, how you doing? It's William here. Day 2. It's a bit of a washout. Slept okay. So yesterday's learning points were Kira's bag was too heavy, and don't try and pitch a Hex Peak or any other tent for that matter really on the sand. I know some of you guys like gear shit and that, no? So last night was my first night using my Thermarest. I don't even know what model it is. What model is it? I don't know. Anyway, I've got my Thermarest, and one thing I noticed last night, it's very easy to overinflate them. I think because they're so well made, if you overinflate them, they can be, like when you lie on them, particularly when you're a large chap like me, they can be too hard. So this morning when I awoke, I had a bit of a restless night, but it was fine. It was, you know, I probably got about 4 or 5 hours sleep, which is above average probably for me when I'm camping. And when I woke this morning, the airbed had went down slightly, and it was so much more comfortable. So yeah, that's definitely one to remember. And my new sleeping bag as well, the Snugpak Travel Pack 3, was far too warm last night. I had to zip it all the way down and practically lie on top of it. But yeah, other than that, it was a comfortable enough night. One thing, 100%, I'll need to buy myself a pillow. I tried the old rolling up the dry bag. Rolling up the dry bag and using that as a pillow, but nah, doesn't work for me. I'll make do tonight. But no, I think I'll have to pick up one of these inflatable pillows, I think, because it does make a massive difference. If I don't have a pillow the right size, my back gets sore if I'm lying on my back. So yeah, but other than that, it was fine. The dog slept most of the night. The problem we have today is it's pissing with rain, and he's been in and out the water all morning, and he will be in and out the water most of the day probably. So, oh, talk of the devil. Pip, what are you doing? But we've had my first cup of tea of the morning. I had a sandwich left from yesterday, so I had that. And yeah, it's just about staying out of the rain today. I did float the idea this morning of just suggesting to Kira to pack up, but that's not what we do. The whole point about coming out camping is to deal with situations like this. The place that we're at, it's in the Galloway Forest. That's as much as I'll say. And the little beach, the bit that we're at just now, it's been destroyed. There's a tree just out there that you can see has been just hatcheted down, and someone's wrote on it, Davy I think it was, or John, or whatever the guy's name was, 2020 COVID time. Fucking tree's been standing there probably for 50 or 60 years, and they've just decided just to hatchet it down. We've been using the Trangia stove and the bush box as a stand. We had a small fire last night in a fire pit that was already there, but it was as much to keep the midges away as anything. Yeah, we would usually, anytime we go anywhere, we try and take out more than we bring in, but we were quite overweight yesterday coming in, so I don't know that we'll be able to take very much away with us tomorrow. But we'll have a rubbish bag with us, so if we can pick up any other stuff then we will. But yeah, other than that, successful night, and yeah, it's just going to be a day of staying out the way of the weather. So I've got my Kindle there, and I've got some podcasts to listen to, and I've downloaded 3 or 4 episodes onto my phone of Better Call Saul, so I'm not going to be stuck for entertainment. But the weather forecast says it's to clear up in an hour, so fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm off for now, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye. That's Pip, that is best. Morning folks. Well, that's the morning of our last day here, and had a bit of sleep last night. Forgot a toothbrush though, so we're desperate to get home and get our teeth brushed. I had the obligatory midge attack yesterday, and normally midges don't bother me at all, but my arms have all broke out, so I've got some of Kira's antihistamines. Listen to him. Go on. Better sleep last night. I managed to fashion a pillow out of some stuff that I had, but that's certainly one of the takeaway points. A pillow's needed for me, certainly. I know some people can get away without it, but I think it's needed for me. A cracking 2 nights. That's Kira's tent there, mine's just further round. Cracking 2 nights. We actually, it was, yeah, the only thing now is you've got to get packed away and you've got a 4-mile walk back to the car. We've got a couple of guests last night. Another couple of people have appeared. They're over in the beach. They probably arrived and seen that we were here, and they've camped up over there. But yes, it's been a successful couple of days. Really enjoyed it. First time camping away from the car. As I say, Kira and I have wild camped for years, but we've always camped close to the car. So this was a new thing for us, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'm out again next weekend with one of my friends, and then I'm off work for another week after that, so I'm going to try and get a wild camp in on my own, which I've never done before, so that'll be a hurdle to overcome. But yeah, I feel fine. We're just going to filter some water and make some tea, and we've got some rice and a wee bar of chocolate each to do us, and then we'll start the hike back to the car. This guy will not give me peace. Look at this. It's a bit of a pain in the arse having him here. Well, not really, but he's because all he does is swim. So then you've got to keep him out of the water about an hour and a half before you're going to go to your bed, so he's not wet. And then the tent's covered in hair. So we'll be turning it inside out and doing all that, but we'll do all the maintenance stuff once we get home. The object of the exercise now is just to get a cup of tea, get a bite to eat, get everything into our packs and get away, and then we can spend a couple of hours when we get home cleaning everything. So yeah, I'll maybe give my final thoughts once I'm home and see, you know, what I used and what I didn't. And there's a couple of folk actually had messaged me and asking me for a rundown of the kit that I used. So maybe I might either make a video or I'll put a list of that in. Like I said, this is my first ever. There's the things that I bought that, you know, you've the old saying, buy cheap, buy twice. It certainly became the case. I've got an Opinel head torch that I bought, and then the one that I bought before it I only used once because it was bigger and bulkier. Not an Opinel, an Olight head torch, and that is, yeah, I mean, certainly the highlights of my kit over the weekend was the Bushbox stove and the Trangia are a good combination, because if it's wet you can use the Trangia, and if it's dry you can use the Bushbox. So that was a hit, not having to make fires and stuff. Both tents done as proud. The Hex Peak that I was in and the Nature Hike Cloud Peak 2 that Kira was in, both of them done a stellar job. I would certainly say the Hex Peak isn't one that I would necessarily bring again unless it's a place I had been to before, because it's a bit more awkward to pitch, and it would help if you kind of had a rough idea where you were going to put it. What else? Yeah, my Sawyer Mini filter. Not having to carry all your water in with you. It's Kira heading up to filter some water. Not having to carry all your water in with you. It was definitely a bonus. Definitely. Be quiet, you. We've got guests. I have to say, that's the first real test my Vango Sherpa 65 litre has been. I've used it twice before, but really just carrying it a few hundred yards. So that was a good 2 hours walk yesterday, and it was fine, absolutely fine. For a short period, because I had mentioned that Kira's backpack was a bit heavy for her, I walked on ahead and brought mine and went and picked hers up, and there is a difference, I have to, and I know they're smaller, so that's going to make a difference anyway, but you can feel the build quality in the Osprey as opposed to the Vango. No complaints about the Vango whatsoever, but the Osprey is definitely a step up. But yes, all in all, it's been a good camp. I'm going to try, I've got a little private YouTube thing that I do, so I'm not shy in front of the camera or anything, and the one thing I've always enjoyed doing is doing a little bit of editing here and there. I'm certainly not saying I'm going to turn into one of these YouTubers that do all the hiking and film themselves walking and stuff like that. That's certainly not the goal, but I would like to I would certainly like to make a video diary at the very least on every trip that I'm on, just for my own posterity to be able to look back on. One thing I will say is that I am an out of shape 50-year-old guy from the west of Scotland, and I've been wanting to do this for years, and I just gave myself a shake and says, right, if you don't do it now, you'll regret you never done it. So I'm certainly prepared to make the mistakes so that you don't have to. But yeah, one of the main things for me is getting advice from people who have been doing it for years, listening to people that have done it, and yeah, I'm not too proud to say that I know what I'm doing up to a point, but I've got a lot to learn. So yeah, I will make videos. I'll share them on the groups that I'm a member of, and feel free to do whatever you do. If you want to give me some constructive criticism, then I'll be more than willing to accept. If people are going to come on and criticise just for the sake of criticising, feel free to be ignored. So yeah, I don't know if this will turn into anything. Even the videos I've taken over the last 2 days, I don't know if they will. I have a tendency to speak too much, and when you're in places like this, you really don't need to say too much other than share what's around you. So yes, if you have watched my video and you like it, then like it. If you don't, then don't, or whatever. Like I said, all constructive criticism welcome, all words of encouragement welcome, and yeah, I guess with that, I best entertain this boy for 20 minutes while Kira filters some water. Speak to you soon, guys. Thanks very much for all the encouraging words on I'm a member of 3 Facebook groups. Scottish Wild Camping and Bushcraft and Wild Camping. I can't remember. Wild Camping UK and the Great British Bushcraft Group, I think it is. Can't remember. You know who you are. There's been lots of really, really encouraging words and lots of really, really useful help on there. Once you cut through a lot of the kind of smart arses and people that are there just to get a bite from people, once you cut through all that, they really are quite valuable resources. So yeah, I thank every one of you that's contributed, and yeah, so I best go and spark up the Trangia and get a brew on, as they say. Speak to you soon, guys. Bye.